Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name's Steph, and as you can see from the title, we are tackling our pile of clothes, chores, tasks that you don't want to do but have been piling up. And for me, it is mending and altering clothes, and I've gone and roughly sorted them all out into piles. Some clothes, like these ones, I'm not entirely sure why they got put into the box of doom to be corrected at all. I'm not sure. I think these are just going to get hoid, put in the washing machine, and then I'll just see what happens on the other side. So the elastic needs threading back around because the elastic is very old, like 2017, so I need new elastic. And like they're the first pair of shorts I ever made, so I'm feeling like nostalgic, but I think they're quite good bed shorts, but I think maybe they either need upcycling or just new elastic putting in and carrying using bed shorts. These are ready to wear trousers. They just need fixing. They need making longer, so I'm gonna rehem them. These are like stuff for my son where all the snaps have come off and I need to refix it all. This pile is various stuff that just needs overlocking. That skirt is just like 6 sizes too big, even though I made for my measurements, so it needs taking apart and drastically changing. But I may, because it has some facing in it, so it has all this, I thought if I just sewed it down and put some elastic in and see how that looks first, it might be the quickest solution. These are some trousers that go with the Saguru set by the Friday Cat and Company. I just used a different trousers that I already had cut out, but I need to add on a drawstring to go with the elastic because I think that'll improve the look. This needs new buttons. This was just something, this goes with my skirt. This is what this did originally form the top half of my the dress, and I got married in this. So like again, this gives like nostalgic vibes. I don't entirely sure what I want to do with this. Possibly fix all the binding on it, and it's quite low cut, as you can see. So I'm not sure entirely. And I think that kind of about covers it. This just needs, I mean, one, I shouldn't have ever made it with white overlocking thread, but it needs top stitching around all the edges. So yeah, we're just going to tackle one project at a time so I don't get too overwhelmed. I'm going to go get my cutty things. Seam rippers, that's the word. And so you get ready, go get your stuff sorted, and we're going to do this together. We're going to tackle our piles together. Because we don't want to be doing this stuff on our own, do we, really? So if you want to like tidy your craft room, just stick me on in the background. I'm going to answer some questions as well. I have a list of sewing questions to make life a little bit more interesting. And if you can answer them as well, I'll be super keen to hear your stories. So I love people's stories. I love hearing about people's lives because it's just so interesting. So I don't know if you've ever watched Drive to Survive on Netflix. I never watched the Formula One because why do I care? But watching Drive to Survive, I'm like, ooh, I am interested now because you get to know the people. So like one of my husband makes me watch World War II stuff. I don't really care for the greater grand scheme of things, but when it's told through the through individual stories, I then find that super interesting. So I've got some sewing questions. What inspired you to start sewing? The lack of well-fitting clothes. Ironically, I've never really got around to making well-fitted clothes, but it's when I'm a little bit lighter, I lose most of my weight off my waist, but I lose nothing off my legs. So then trousers are an absolute pain to wear. And to this day, I have never made non-elasticated trousers. So, that's what inspired me to start sewing. And just general creativity, because I am quite a creative person. I'm not very artistic. I think there's a difference between being creative and being artistic. Like, my writing's terrible. I was never very good at colouring in because I could never like stay within the lines. I can't draw. I'm not very good at like original thinking. Really, I have nothing unique going on in my head. But I do like making stuff. So like, I'll always make from patterns. I'll never draft anything. But even when my knitting and my crochet, it's always following someone else's art, someone else's inspiration. Other than like, yeah, no, pretty much. Like, if there's not a pattern I can't follow, I'm not very good at like freehanding it, which I think is fine. I think that puts a lot of people off, being like, oh, I'm not that creative. And I don't think that really matters, because there's so many artistic, creative people out there. So that's what inspired me to start. Do you have any sewing rituals or routines? No. I come in here and sort of tackle what I want to tackle, really. I do try and write lists and try and roughly keep to them. I do make my plans videos every month, and I sometimes stick to it. But no rituals. Once the room gets too messy, I then doom clean it, and then we start the whole process again. I wish I had rituals. I think it would make my life easier to manage and less stressful. Do you have any sewing routines and rituals? Like, can I get some rituals? Have you got any ideas? Like, give me your rituals. I will steal them off you. And maybe I should have brought in a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. I do listen to music when I sew because I find I struggle with focus and motivation. Like, I could listen to audiobooks, honestly. I have so many audiobooks to listen to, but I need something to amp me up. Like, I have like loud music on that's got like a high beats per minute, because I need something to get the blood pumping, you know? And to get the motivation flowing. And music is a fantastic motivator for me. So I recently started running, and I can't run to audiobooks because it's not fast enough. I don't know if I need more drama, more hype. What's your favourite types of fabric to work with and why? Oh, that's a difficult one. A favourite type of fabric? I don't think I have that much experience with different types of fabric. I like cotton. I don't think you can go wrong with a really nice cotton because of like the variety of prints. And it's just so easy to cut out. You've got no issues at all with cotton. It doesn't roll like jersey does. Like cotton jersey, such a pain to cut out. I don't like how much you have to iron cotton. If I'm honest, I think that's an absolute pain with how much every time you have to iron it. So yeah, that's a really boring answer, isn't it? Just going, hey, I like to work with cotton because it's like the most popular fabric. We're nearly there with these. So I think I'll do all like my seam ripping first, and then we'll see. Because at least we've made a start there. Because I was going to come in just now because I don't have long. It is 11 o'clock and I need to start cooking Sunday dinner at 11:30. And to get ready for that. So I was like, no, let's just try and make a dress. I'm like, no, let's tackle this doom pile first because it's all over the floor. And if you put it back in the box, it ain't coming out of that box again, you know? Like, out of sight, out of mind. So I rearranged my fridge so all my fruit and veg does no longer live in the fruit and veg boxes at the bottom. And you know what? It is actually working. And I am now throwing out less fruit and veg because I can see it every time I open the fridge. So it's getting used. So yeah, my condiments now live in the bottom. So the stuff that doesn't ever go off, like your sauerkraut, your pickles, your gherkins, jam, mayonnaise, stuff like that. It's fantastic because that's the stuff you go in and actually specifically looking for. Nice. One task down. So they need ironing and then just hemming, overlocking. They might not. Yeah, I think I will overlock them because they're threading, molting a bit. So this skirt I have already tried to change once by just putting a couple of folds in. But it just now doesn't sit quite right. And honestly, because there's so much pleating in it, and the pleating is perfect and top stitch. It would take me, I think, hours to unpick it. So this is why I'm kind of looking for a quick fix with elastic, which I feel is kind of cheating, but it's a beautiful fabric and it is spring, and I think it's perfect autumn. It's an autumn skirt, right, because of the fabric. But I think I can get away with it in spring too, because of the length, the coverage. So this was a McCall's pattern, and their sizing is just like really off. Like, I measured my body and it said to cut this size. So I really don't know, because there's no elastic in it, so it should fit. Nice. Okay, so I think this is what we'll tackle today, actually, because I have missed it in my wardrobe. What the heck is happening here? There we are. Yeah, I think this possibly elastic would help this. What is next on our to-do list? That all needs to go in the overlocker. Those need more time and thought. Let's undo this, because these are beautiful and I have a matching top to go with it. I do need to go over the stitching because the overlocking thread is showing through, so I do need to stitch it, which I will just put a couple of more lines down so you can't see, but I'll do that with the sewing machine. I like double gauze. I think it's the perfect summer fabric, and I really want to wear this as a proper set this summer, especially since the trousers. I do think it's perfect for our holiday that we have coming up. We're going on a barge, on a canal boat, and I think since I'll be in charge of doing the locks, I need something I can jump on off the boat with. My husband's like, do you want to do the locks or do you want to do the driving of the boat? And since I used to drive a boat for a living, well, ships, I used to drive ships for a living, big ships, I'm like, I have no desire to drive. But then he said doing the locks is quite physically strenuous. But then I was like, well, that's fine because I'll just get to eat more, won't I? But maybe I'll do a little bit of boat driving. I hope I'm not making these worse. I also possibly should have looked for where the remnants of this fabric is before taking my stitch unpickers to it. That's fine because honestly I don't like the way they look without. Okay, let's see if we've got any more sewing questions for you. Have you ever had a sewing disaster and how did you handle it? Most of what I make is a sewing disaster at this point in life, honestly. I struggle to follow instructions. I struggle with reading instructions. I struggle with thinking through the processes. I make stupid mistakes. I've recently just made a brand new t-shirt for my son and I cut everything instead of 90 degrees in the wrong orientation. I think because I didn't pay attention, I pre-washed the fabric so it didn't come out in the same way. Like when fabric comes, it's folded correctly. So then when I overlocked the edges to stop the curl and just assumed that the two overlocked edges were the selvages and they weren't. So the grain, the stretch is going the wrong way, which is fine, but also I sewed them the wrong way around. I sewed the right side to the wrong side. And you can't tell, honestly you can't tell, but I know the problem is there. So now I need to undo all this overlocking because I need to add in buttonholes in here. I hate unpicking overlocking. Any sewing disasters, honestly. Most things I make I'm not truly happy with. There's a few dresses that come out super well. Absolute disaster. Maybe I think I block them out of my mind. Oh no, the Noel dress that I just made. You can see all my shorts on I think they're on my TikTok. I did put some on my YouTube actually. That was a freaking disaster and a half. ever I saw one that came out so badly, honestly, because it didn't fit at all. The bodice just did not fit my body. I think because I have a short torso, and the sleeves came out just not what I envisioned. I think it's just me, my personality, it just didn't suit. And obviously the waist was too low. And honestly, this was going to be my dream dress. I was like, this is just going to be absolutely amazing. The woman looks so good. And you know, I think it's that skinny privilege, right? Which I know I am slim. But when you see like a really tall, really slim person, I just think half the garments the dress looks so beautiful on her. And then I put mine on, and because the fit wasn't right, I just felt so frumpy and bumpy, and I hated it. It's just made me feel so bad about myself. I didn't get that overwhelming rush of, oh wow, I love this. I look amazing. Which, I'll make clothes to make me feel good, you know? If I want to go feel rubbish about stuff, I'll just go buy stuff from the high street. Which at this point fits better than the stuff that I'm making. I don't know why I continue. I could just save up and buy clothes. This is really hard to unpick. Where is the stitches? So that was, but I did manage to rescue that, and now I have a very nice skirt. So there is that. And I am getting round to, probably in June, doing some work on my sewing, and I am going to get a sloper, and I'm going to learn how to modify all the patterns that I own into what my body actually is. So there is that. I just need to get round to it. So the dress I'm going to make, I made a different dress. I made before last year, and it's slightly too wrong on the torso, which obviously I know this now. So I took an inch off, to just 1 inch off the pattern. I've no idea if that's enough. We'll find out when it's made, because the fit was not great, but not terrible. I think an inch will just make enough of a difference. And when I start learning how to make my own patterns and slopers and stuff, I'll figure out how much I actually need to take off. This is so difficult. And I did treat myself to a nice pair of unpickers because of how much time I spend unpicking stuff. How are you getting on with your mundane tasks today? I hope you are progressing well. What do you do with your sewing disasters? I put them aside. I possibly think there might be an easier way to unpick than what I am doing, but that would require me to Google stuff and look at YouTube, and if I open my phone, I will get distracted. Okay, but now this is quite boring. And I think this is the last of the unpicking I actually have to do. I even interfaced this. I really did follow instructions here. Not gonna lie, I didn't think double gauze needed that much ironing, but looking at these now, they definitely need an iron. But I just think it'd be good to, you just want to keep the breeze off you a little bit. You don't, but you still want to not be too hot. I think this is what this is perfect for. Now I had to do a lot of cleaning on Friday because my husband came home, and my friend was on the phone to me for 2.5 hours. Fantastic. Do you know, I actually managed to achieve so much. I've never really body doubling, I know, is a thing people do to help them stay focused. And it is something we're starting to incorporate more into our lives. But I didn't realise that just being on the phone with someone, it helped keep me focused and on task. And yeah, I would never be able to do that much without getting distracted before. So yeah, it really does work. So I hope that if you are watching or listening to this video, it is keeping you on task. Keep going. I know this is boring, but imagine how you're going to feel when you finish all these tasks. Because I don't know about you, but it's always in the back of my head when I start new projects of, ooh, you do know you've got that box of stuff that's been there a year. and you said you were going to do and you never did. And it's like that constant niggle that's always present in your head. So every time I start a new knitting or crochet project, which I must have 20 to 30 on the go at the moment, and then don't ever finish them, like all my socks are like, oh, you do realise that, like, I bought new sock needles now because I start that many socks. It's terrible. And even like now in my head I'm like, oh, you've got all those sewing projects downstairs, those knitting projects, like, are you gonna do it? So what did we do last night? The second night my husband's home, we played Beat Saber on the VR. Excellent game. Ow. And then we sat in silence and read, and it was glorious, honestly. I was like, do you understand now why? Because I could do so much more crafting at night if I listened to my audiobooks, but honestly, I just need silence. I really just need silence. I spent all day chatting with my child, and honestly being screamed at an awful lot as well. So when it gets to night time when he's in bed, I'm just like, I just need that peace, and it is glorious. So it does mean I don't watch any TV shows. We don't watch many anyway. I watch them when my husband's home. He motivates me to sit still and watch TV, and I do enjoy it when we do it. I just don't do it when he's not here. And I do wish I could sit more at night and do listen to my audiobooks and do my knitting and stuff, but I just really like sitting down with a physical book for a few hours and just getting absolutely immersed in a different world. I find it so peaceful, and it just helps me, like, gets me out of my head and helps me escape. But it does give me horrific time blindness, and then I'm like, oh my god, how has it got to that time of night? I've only been reading for 5 minutes and it's then 2 hours later. Okay. Oh, I hope I've not messed up by taking this apart. But I wasn't wearing them, so they were a waste of resources by me not wearing them. I think I just want to make this elastic a little bit tighter. Oh no, I don't, because I sewed it down. So apparently it was already at the right tightness. Oh well. We'll just put that back in then. Let's not make silly mistakes. We're nearly finished. What we're going to do first, I think we're going to do the quick repair projects, because it's quick and it gets three items off my list. And I started working out and running, and I really need my leggings back, if I'm honest. So we still have so many more questions to get through, but we'll save them for next week's video. Let me know if you've liked this. I will see you in 2 seconds, and you'll see these magical repairs. Honestly, they've been repaired a few times, but I have big thighs and they just rub holes and stuff. So that is it. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's given you the motivation to crack on with stuff. If you are still in the zone, like, let YouTube autoplay the next video that it's chosen for you and stay there. Just because I'm finishing doesn't mean you have to finish too, okay? Carry on with your project and let me know when you've finished. Like, put it in the comments and let me know. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok. And yeah, I quite enjoyed doing this. This has helped keep me motivated by talking to you, which is nice. I'm starting to feel a bit more zen. I have had a cup of coffee this morning. I reintroduced caffeine to my life after 6 months, and honestly, it has been a game changer. I'm a lot more focused now. So there is that, and I intermittently fast. I'm on the road to self-improvement, and it is all the things that they said. Do intermittent fasting, have a cup of coffee in the morning, and do exercise. I think possibly the exercise is the main one, which is super annoying because it's the last thing that I have tried out. And yeah, it is really, really helping, and I hate it because I don't particularly enjoy exercise, but it is helping my mental health, my mental clarity, and my focus. So that is that. I'll see you in 2 seconds. Maybe a bit longer than 2 seconds since I really hurt because of all the exercise. Now you get to see me up close. Aren't you so lucky? Oh, my husband's shirt. Literal focus. 3 minutes it took whilst I was busy chit-chatting on my TikTok as well. And that's all it took to do 3 tiny bits of overlocking. Again, we didn't overlock more than once, to be fair. But they are super old. But they work, they fit. I don't want to go spending money on new leggings when I don't keep up with my fitness, to be honest. Of course we need to go in the wash now. But literally been putting this off for like 8 months. 6 to 8 months. I think they've been waiting. And again, this was right on the gusset too. And now I get rainbow overlocking. Which it might come undone again. And I'll just fix them again. Because that's the weakest point, isn't it? Is through the crutch. So there's no point throwing the rest of it out of the way in the bin when you just need to do a little bit more sewing. And I have things ticked off my list. This has been fun. I'll see you in the next one. It's 11:30. I'm going to preheat my oven and get cooking. I am starving. I'm doing a really long fast today so I can eat all of my Sunday dinner without feeling guilty. Not that I do feel guilty, but I am trying to lose weight. You know, I'm trying to try and lose some of this baby weight. My baby is 3 years old. And honestly, we went out on a bike ride yesterday and 20 kilometers, way too long. And it's just that stereotypical, like, mum that was miles behind the husband and the kid. And I want to be able to keep up. Well, not necessarily keep up because I'm quite fit, but not be as bad because I was dying. My legs were burning, my lungs were burning, my heart was burning. I want to be healthier and fitter for my child. So, because I had a very active childhood and I want to be that for my son. So, yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this and I'll see you in the next one and we'll get through our projects.